Morning, everyone. Good to see you. It's Melissa here with Build a Better Bakery again to be with you for our hashtag Thursday fave session right here in the Bakery Business School group. Let me make sure things are good so I can see comments coming in. Okay, perfect. Looks like comments are able to be brought in today through the Facebook group if you're here live with me. So if you are live, you'll throw up your hashtag live. If you're here on replay, go ahead and throw up your hashtag replay so that I know you have come in to see the content. Now, again, I'm Melissa Fryer. I'm the owner, CEO, main mentor at Build a Better Bakery. And if you're interested in finding more joy, less overwhelm while starting and growing your baking business, then we should hang out more. So that's why we're here today to share some info with you. Now, the theme for March is cultivating the dream. So we're going to be talking a lot about setting up businesses, dealing with just the mental load of business building. And one of the first things that I often hear from bakers when they're dreaming up their business or they're trying to come up with a new idea to work on, that they're feeling overwhelmed. That's just kind of the basic word that a lot of people use, and that they feel stuck in the mess of their thoughts, which is super common. And dreaming up new things is part of the everyday life of an entrepreneur. It's what you're going to be doing often when you're trying to revamp, grow, start something new. There's this whole process of kind of mindstorm, right, of things going on in your head. So what I want to do is get you better prepared with a plan as you move into this exciting space of creation so that you have a better idea of how to get your visions into reality. We're going to discuss 3 steps that I personally take right away with a new idea. And it not only lessens overwhelm naturally for me because I'm moving through the steps each time, but it also helps me determine quickly if an idea is holding water or not before investing too much time or money, because that's not what I want for you either. I want you to work towards things that make sense. Anyone can accomplish these 3 steps. I'll go through them, and I'm here to help along the way if you need it, depending on when you're working through this process, if you need some help from me. Okay, to stay in the know about these lives, I go live every Thursday, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, right here in our little private Facebook group land. You can check the events to see what we're talking about. You can send me a friend request on the platform. This is the only way to get invited to these live events on Facebook. Send me a request, and then I can check a box that says invite all my friends in the group. That's the only way I can do it at this point because our group is too large. If you want to hang out on the email list, there are usually replays that come out maybe a couple times a month or once a month or so. I'll send you some information about what we've talked about in the past. But if there's time sensitive information in it, you will likely miss that. So if you want to know for sure what's going on, definitely come live or get invites so you know what's happening. Or you can hang out with us on YouTube. I usually post most of the content there earlier than when I send out the email links, or kind of at the same time. So that could be another place that you can look. All right, let's jump right in. Okay, step 1, the beautiful mess. So I'm going to call this one. Or i.e. the brain dump. So if you've ever heard of a brain dump, this is essentially the process that I work on. Number 1. This is where you'll grab a special notebook, hopefully something that you're only using for this process, so there's not other things in the notebook taking up space and breaking up your process. And you might want to refer to this later for your business plan or a daily planner, so that's where you might want to keep things separated. You may even come to this notebook later for inspiration or memory jogging if you get into a slump. So that's where having a little notebook just for this is probably a better plan. I only know this because I used to put it in a notebook with a bunch of other stuff, and I just never could find the information. So some separate notebook. And the process itself is fairly simple. You just have to make time to do it. So you are going to create your beautiful mess in your notebook. You're going to sit down with a good pen or something that you like to write with, something that feels good. Set a timer for 10 minutes and just write. So you can make lists. You can make categories, you can do word association, whatever it is. You can draw pictures or just sit and think until something comes to you. So it's not really about creating a lot. It's just about making that space and time for you to sit there with your notebook and your pen and give your body a chance to let it out. Consider closing your eyes and letting your mind play around with it. If you do this pretty often, there might be days that you don't write much, and that's okay too. Now, you can make this a weekly routine. That might be something that's actually really beneficial to your mental health when it comes to running your business. So maybe something like every Monday at 9, right? Or just pick a day and a time where you have an alarm on your phone or on your computer or at your house that reminds you to sit down and do it. You will start to notice the power of this process the more you do it. So every time you're doing it, you're going to start, and this is just from my experience, I start to understand that it's helping me feel better because the action of writing down all of this stuff that's going on in my head lessens the pain. I'm giving those words and phrases and pictures a place to live outside of my head. So it's like I'm letting them go a little bit, and that feels good. So your beautiful mess might not be pretty to look at. Okay, it might just be a big jumble. That's okay. In fact, I did something really quick just a few minutes before. This is my notebook that I was talking about. It's sectioned out. I do work stuff in here. This is something of what a beautiful mess page might look like, right? Like I have to get that done, okay? And then we'll talk about separating other things out later. But it could just be some words, some things that you've been thinking about, hey, I need to get this done. Okay, and another bonus to this exercise, this first part of step 1, is that when you get in the habit of writing down your ideas and goals, you're more likely to accomplish them. That's just science, right? Science just says if you're writing things down, it just, the likelihood that they will happen goes up. So that's another plus to this. All right, so you've done your beautiful mess. Number 2, the coffee date. Use this strategy when you have something on the mind from your beautiful mess moment that you want to flesh out. You think this is something that I do want to pursue. But I need to kind of bounce some ideas off someone or just see if they have some experience with this before I head all in with time and money. I often use my husband for this. He's a creative person too, so it's easier for me to have those conversations with him. But a friend or another business owner or even me would be great options for doing this bouncing of the ideas. After you did your brainstorming, sit down with someone and actually talk through some options. Now, I ask my business VIP group, which is a different subject, but something I do suggest if you like to do market research and you want to be able to serve your community better, create a VIP group. Okay, so I ask them for their input as well. And it's a way of conducting kind of just a laid back version of marketing research, finding out what people want, what options are exciting, what options aren't, because what you think is right might not actually be what they need or want at the time. So that's a good opportunity too. These little sessions of sitting down and having a coffee date with someone like me or another business owner or a friend or a family member to chat about what's going on, it'll allow you to breathe life into the idea. So it moves from being a little scratch on a piece of paper to being a real reality that you're discussing with another person to get their feel for, is this something that makes sense or not? And it gets you an outsider's perspective, which may or may not be what you think it is or what you feel like you want to hear. But I promise that outsiders' perspectives are very important when it comes to actual sales numbers later on, and the amount of support that you're going to get for certain products and ideas. So you need to know those opinions. You need to know the limitations of what other people are seeing. And often those around us notice or mention things that we're kind of too close to see. We're kind of too wrapped up in what we're doing to really notice it. So it might not feel great, right? Someone might say, I don't think that's a good idea, but hear them out and get their opinion. Maybe take your notebook and take some notes to get a wider vision around what you're trying to do. Hey, Sandy, hashtag live. All right, and then number 3 is the domino list. So number 1 was the beautiful mess, doing your brain dump. Number 2 is the coffee date, sitting down with someone and just talking it through. And number 3, the domino list. This is a very simple strategy you can use the same notebook for, and it gives you a place to start. A lot of people say, I don't even know where to start. Well, this is where you're going to start making a plan, and it's going to lessen the overwhelm of not knowing what to prioritize. You often do know what to prioritize, but it hasn't been put into a category that makes sense yet for you to actually go through and start checking stuff off. So in your notebook, a suggestion would be to take a page and break it down into 3 categories, 3 columns. Category 1 is for must do today. And I want you to be so super strict with this category. Nothing gets in that does not have to be done today, or else there's a consequence, right? This is like, it has to happen today or else. That's what goes into category 1, the must do today. I want you to be able to accomplish this list fully every day without breaking too much of a sweat. If you can't, and you're having lots of consequences come down on you, it likely means that you're just trying to do too much and you don't have time to do it. So you want this to be a fully accomplished list on the daily. And also note that these things that go on the list must be done first before other things on your next list that we're going to talk about can be accomplished. So an example might be getting your permit, getting your seller's permit. And then another category might be baking for the farmer's market, right? You wouldn't bake for a farmer's market before you're actually permitted to sell there. So by domino, I mean having that first category, also including the things that have to happen in succession. It's building up to a goal, right? Right. Number 2 is what you want to happen within a week or so, 7 to 10 business days. These are your short-term goals, essentially, that will soon be placed on the must-do list. But there's not really a consequence if you don't get it done today. It's just something you want to do soon. And as the days pass by, you could even complete it sooner if time allows. So it's kind of like a reminder of what you want to do, but it doesn't have to be done today, but it is something that you need to accomplish soon. And then category 3 is your longer term goals that are kind of eating at you, that you feel like you just need to remind yourself that that's where you're headed. And that might be something that you want to accomplish with, 2 to 3 weeks out or further, something maybe happening next month that you want to look at. These goals likely contain smaller steps that you'll be listing off in 1 and 2, right? So it's a very simplistic kind of like goal timeline, 3 categories, must do, 1 to 2 weeks later on. That's all that is. And that just helps kind of separate your beautiful mess out after you've talked with someone to see kind of what deserves to be on these lists. And then actually writing it down so that you can learn to, how do you prioritize? How do you work? How much can you get done in a day? What are the things that you feel like are holding you back, right? Those are all things that can kind of come to light as you work on your categories. And you can make a domino list often, or when you need to sort out your information, whatever it is. It's just the last thing I do to just get started and get moving with my day so that I know what's going on. And often when I make these lists, it's for the next day. So this will like this is something I would do the night before that day. So I'm not doing it in the morning. I know what is going to happen the next day. That's a really good trick to use your day fully, is to plan it before it actually starts. Okay, and that's the gist. So beautiful mess, step 1, coffee date, step 2, domino list, step 3, to prioritize and get started. I personally use this pretty much the same process every single time I start something new. It's just, I don't really think about it. I just kind of do it. And I'm pretty good at getting new ideas started up. So if it works for you, I definitely say yay and give it a shot if you've not tried anything like this before. If you have another kind of succession of tactics that you like to use to get started with a new idea, feel free to post them here. We can have a little list of what other people like to do to get their ideas concrete and to move forward, because I know that's a big thing for people just getting started. Now, if you'd like to get together for that coffee date type meeting that I talked about, you can catch me on my scheduling page. I do offer one free 20-minute mentorship session for everyone in the group. So if you haven't used yours yet, you can definitely sign up for yours. Or if you know that you need more than that, you can always book a full session where we get down to the nitty-gritty and get a plan set up for you to move forward with what's going on. Get you like with a whole action plan set up and ready to go to make sure that you've got the information you need to move forward. So you can just let me know if you need that link, or it's on the website. If you've ever been to our website at buildabetterbakerynow.com, you'll see it up there as an option, or on the Calendly site. So that's it. Thanks for hanging out today. I don't see any questions, so I'm going to head out, and you can always reach out for mentorship, resources, etc. I have a lot to offer to you to make sure that you feel like you have support as you're moving through this. No one has to do this alone. That's why you're here. So I'm glad you're here. And just don't be shy. I'm a regular, real person sitting in my house, just talking to you on the internet. So feel free to reach out. I'm off to bake some lactation cookies. I'm working on a lactation cookie recipe today and some vanilla cream cake for an order. So I'm going to go do that, and I will see you all later. I hope you have a great day and a great weekend, and I'll see y'all next week.